Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Simone, and we got to get into this week's episode of Married to Medicine. Child, when I tell you there was more bullshit and hypocrisy in the first 5 minutes of this episode, it's not even funny. And I don't know how this review is gonna go. But what I do know is the one thing I'm going to tell Sweet Tea is you better run. But let's just get into it. Before we do, y'all please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you're not already. Of course, I got to shout out my super thankses and channel supporters on Cash App. Thank you so much to Dina Poole. On Apple Pay, thank you to Maurice Stanley. And on the super thanks, thank you so much to Granny the Great, Yvette Greer, Educate Your Mind, Tech Mama, KMB9295, and Mchoya33. Thank y'all so very much. So, of course, this week's episode opens up with King Kong running Dr. G down. Ain't nothing but Cheick and the grace of God kept King off that man's ass. They finally got them separated. They got Dr. G going in one direction. They got King going in the other direction. Tell me why, when they got King going over this way and Quad is over there, baby, no, baby, please, no. Why the hell? Sweet Tea over there running up on King rather than going to comfort her man who almost got his whole ass tore off. Cecil and Dr. Simone said, no, Sweet Tea, don't bring your ass over there. Go over there with your man. Cheick and Dr. Eugene are calming King down. Quad pulls King aside, said, let's just go for a walk. So they go walking her off, and he starts explaining to Quad that this all exploded because that motherfucker just told me he was talking to you last night when he said, you got a big mouth, you need to shut the fuck up. Quad said he was talking to me. So somehow it went over both of their heads that he was talking to Quad when he said that. Now, how it went over their heads, I mean, I don't know. I saw some of y'all in the comments saying maybe in the confusion, they thought that Dr. G was talking to Sweet Tea. But in the scene, in the clip that they showed, Dr. G was looking directly at Quad when he said it. Now, he was looking at the back of her head, and maybe that's why they assumed he wasn't talking to her. But he's looking at the back of Quad's head saying this, and King is looking directly in his face. So, I mean, I don't know. King said, yeah, he just said that, and he can talk to his wife like that, but he won't be talking to you like that. Quad was saying in the confessional, why would you talk to any woman like that? And I agree. I don't know what Dr. G's problem is, but these last few episodes is like being inside the mind of a maniac. Quad said he did what he did to me and it was awful. King said, well, we ain't got to worry about that no more. He ain't going to speak to you. And you can say whatever you want to say. So say whatever it is that you need to say whenever you're ready. Quad said, but I don't want you to be in trouble and I don't want you to be fighting. He said, I don't care about none of that. I got your back. Say whatever you want to say. She said, okay. I said, no, that's right. Meanwhile, over off to the other side, you have Cecil and Steve trying to talk to Dr. G and telling him, first of all, you got entirely too much to lose to be out here trying to fight and provoke fights. Cecil said, you can't be getting yourself in these kind of situations. He said, if it's that bad, if we're at the point where you don't feel like you can be in this dynamic and you can be around him without this kind of stuff happening, then we need to move on. Something got to shake. Now, somehow in the midst of all this, Sweet Tea more upset than any damn body. Dr. Mimi off to the side having a Holy Ghost intervention with her. But this is what they wanted. They want to break y'all up. Who the hell is they? Who is they? Because ain't a damn soul concerned with their marriage that they are barely holding together. Dr. Mimi over there telling Sweet Tea, don't allow them to do this shit. And Sweet Tea, I'm not going to allow them to do this shit. Phaedra walks up and hugs her. Sweet Tea starts breaking down about why they always starting shit. Mimi carrying on about this is your covenant, girl. If y'all don't. And then here come Contessa who don't never do nothing but make shit worse. Coming in about, Father God, in the name of Jesus, please wrap your arms around her. Now, Sweet Tea, I mean, jumping, screaming, carrying on like it's an exorcism. Is it a demon? Is we praying? What the hell is happening? Somebody in the middle, they say it's Phaedra screaming, but he coming in a Hyde. Somebody praying in tongues. Toya walking up with her drink in her hand, just shaking her head like, would you look at this shit? And Dr. Simone has the sheer audacity to sit her ignorant ass in that confessional and say some shit like, I have a hard time seeing that God would use Phaedra to pray and speak to Sweet Tea, but he wouldn't speak to her about her relationship with Apollo and Shireen. Good doctor, if you were as discerning as you are degreed, you would understand that God could use anyone, and your degrees mean nothing to him. So as educated as you are and as useful as you may be to the world, it'll be the very folk that you think aren't as good as you that God thinks are a better fit to do his work. Mind your business. Going to hell. So Dr. G finally makes his way over to his own wife. Sweet T asked him what happened between you and him. This man said, all I did was apologize to him for what I said. And he still wanted to talk shit. See, you know what? This is why I'm so glad these people on a damn TV show and this is recorded, because this man is full of shit. But anyway, he goes on to say to Sweet T, you know, it's my fault because I put you in this situation, but now we're out of it. Sweet T said, yeah, let's go home. He said, yeah, let's go home. They don't want to go home. They want somebody to beg them to stay. And in order to beg them to stay, they have to ask King and Quad to leave. Just like play with somebody else. And you can tell because they're having this conversation with Phaedra in the midst. Phaedra walks them over, I guess, to the group or wherever they're going and hands them off to Dr. Simone. They repeat the same thing to Dr. Simone about, we're leaving. We're going home. Yeah, I think we're just going to go home. Simone said, okay. And in the confessional, Sweet Tea sitting up there like, yeah, we going to go ahead and get out of here so we can go get our sexy on. Y'all couldn't get y'all sexy on if sexy jumped on y'all ass. She like, yeah, I do that little thing you like. If y'all don't get the fuck out of our face, ain't nothing sexy about this. It is so cringy to watch this. Oh, God. And even more than the fact that they're just not sexy like that. Like, please stop. It adds another level of secondhand embarrassment for me when you lack the self-awareness to know how cringy you are. This shit is cringy. So now, once again, party over. They done tore up these people. It's time to go. So Simone orders an extra boat because they cannot all get on the same boat to go back and end up throwing people overboard. Now we really going to jail and shit. So they get on these two separate boats. They're headed back to their resort or wherever the hell they're going. And they're talking about, you know, the dynamics of everything that has happened. Dr. Jackie is talking to King, and he's saying he got no problem with Dr. G. Just keep that little mother from around him. And honestly, even in this scene, in this setting, in this conversation, King just seems so much more level-headed than Dr. G. He seems so much more reasonable and able to have a conversation even about the hard parts, because he is capable of saying, yes, they have a past, but I don't give a damn about that. He says at some point in this episode, both of them still have work that they need to do to overcome some of what they're dealing with that's causing all this to happen. Like, he's very aware of the situation, and he's very level-headed in a way that Dr. G is just not. Now, you know one thing they bond over is trauma and conflict. So who is the best of friends now but Dr. Contessa and Dr. Heavenly? Contessa asked, are you okay? Heavenly said, yeah, I'm good. Contessa said, well, why is it so deep between you and Sweet Tea? Heavenly said, because that little girl is too volatile. I can't deal with her. She can't just be hollering at people, hollering all the time and doing all this and screaming and carrying on. I ain't dealing with that. Hello, is this the pot calling the kettle black? I know your ass is lying. Heavenly, you gonna piss me off. I know your ass is not sitting up here, but she can't be hollering at people and she's too volatile. When ma'am, your entire reputation is your mama. And I was disappointed in Contessa because you got smoked for this lady any other time you'd have told her, ma'am, that is absolute projection, because that's what you do all the time since we've known you. But rather than say that, Contessa said, well, I think it's just when she gets upset, because when she's not upset, she's the sweetest girl in the world. Oh, you mean kind of like you describe yourself until Heavenly pulls her bullshit and provokes you? Now, Sweet Tea is over on the other boat saying the same thing. She said, all I asked Shireen was who invited you, and Heavenly started cursing me out. She said, now, I can't fight a senior citizen. I've never been to fight a day in my life. Now, Sweet Tea, this is what I'm going to need you to get hooked on phonics to learn to read the damn room. You can't be talking, calling people senior citizens as insults when you married one of the oldest ones there. He's older than your fucking father, which is why he thinks he's your fucking father. And you up here, girl, just man. Greg over there just as uncomfortable because low-key, yeah, she talking about you. And she a little too deep in this man's face. When I tell you, she got her whole body turned, looking dead in Cheick eye. And I know that she been in Cheick face a lot while they been on this trip. Yeah, Greg going through it because I think you done had to face the woman you lost. Damn, they got your ass whooping. You might be in the process of losing this one all at the same damn time. So we see everybody get back to the resort. I guess they all just go to bed and we wake up the next day with them. The very next day, we see Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Simone inviting Apollo and Shireen to their room. Heavenly sits these people down and says to them that she wanted to start out by apologizing to the people that you brought to antagonize your friend and castmate. That's who you want, girl. They apologized to this man for everything going left. And Apollo said he didn't realize that the Cheick situation would be a derailment, and that was not his intention. Heavenly by, I didn't know. And he goes on to say, she knew he was my friend, but she said that he wasn't my friend in order to make it plausible to bring him along. She don't have to have a justification to bring Elmo if she want to bring that motherfucker as her +1. This is her job. Like, even if they're not friends, like if we peel back the fourth wall or whatever the hell they call that curtain that they keep all the bullshit behind, this is her job. You don't get to show up at her job with your new wife by we want to participate and we want piece of the check too. Are you nuts? The fact that all of them would sit around and have this meeting, conversation, coven, whatever the hell this is, and have it with straight faces is beyond me. And this is why I would have a hard time taking them serious as professionals, because Heavenly sat her ass there with a straight face like she was saying some deep shit about, so the problem didn't lie in her bringing someone. The problem lied in her bringing your friend. I wouldn't give a damn if she brought his granddaddy. It's her job. It's her trip for her job. How does he even tie into this? They not married. They're not separated. They're not going through a divorce. They barely co-parenting. The man can't set foot inside the woman's house. How do you justify inviting him and his new wife, who was his old mistress during his old marriage, on a trip with his ex-wife's new job? How do you justify that shit? And that damn Shireen, but she just sitting there. When I tell you the essence for stupid, when they said, so it's not that she brought someone, it's that she brought your good friend, and he's saying, yes, shut your dumb ass up. When I tell you I can't stand a dumb bitch, and this bitch is in charge of the dumb bitches. Apollo said, yeah, even last night after everything went down, we all back in our room. Cheick gonna call me by, hey, come down. I got a car outside. Let's go hit the strip club. And Apollo is saying it like everybody's supposed to be like, oh my God, how dare he? Bitch, you are divorced from this woman. Over here jumping up and down with the woman you were cheating on her with. And you probably doing God knows what with God knows who, and he knows that because he be out there in them streets with your ass. So this is all fair game as far as he's concerned. Like, why you in your feelings by the woman you clearly didn't want because you wouldn't treat her like you wanted her? Let's go see the strippers. Let's throw a couple dollars, have a couple drinks, and going back, and you do your girl, and I might do your ex. In the confessional, Heavenly goes on to say, Phaedra knew that Apollo was coming on this trip. Phaedra knew that Cheick was Apollo's friend. And yes, I think Phaedra brought him to play in Apollo's face. And I think you need to go sit in a psychiatrist's face for an evaluation, because you got to be out your natural mind. When she would not discuss everything that she had been through years ago that y'all didn't get to benefit from, y'all decided, you know what we gonna do? We gonna go dig up your no good ex-husband. We gonna put him in your face, and we gonna make you the problem when you don't conform to his wishes. Heavenly said, so y'all came here to have some healing and some therapy. Shireen said yes, and I feel like she had a completely different agenda. Y'all are literally legions of liars. You couldn't even believe that, because how could he have been coming for healing and to try to fix things over a TV show, over a friend group, when they can't heal and fix things over their children? What it is if there were unhealed trauma or wounds there, y'all were looking to exploit them, not heal them. And Apollo goes on to say to them that he called her that morning and said that they need to have a one-on-one and have a sit down, and she's not open to it. Because for what? What you think she gonna do? Sit and have a conversation with you on camera to first give you the camera time that you're seeking. Secondly, to make you relevant like you're seeking. Thirdly, to help you get the job that you're seeking. Go to hell. Meanwhile, they've sent Dr. Jackie over to Phaedra's room to check on her. She walks in, Phaedra and Cheick are in there gathering their things. And she asked Phaedra, what's going on? Phaedra said, I'm getting ready to leave. Dr. Jackie said, why are you doing that? Phaedra asked Cheick to step out of the room and give them a moment. And as soon as he steps out, Phaedra said, well, truthfully, I'm most disappointed in you. Out of everyone, you're the one that I trust the most in that type of dynamic. Dr. Jackie said, now wait a minute now, because it was my understanding from Heavenly that you knew that Apollo was coming. She said, I don't know y'all's dynamic, and I didn't want to interject myself in something that I don't really know anything about. And she goes on in the confessional to say, I know a lot of people think I'm close to Jesus and I could have done something to stop it, but I don't have that kind of power. No, it ain't about you being close to Jesus, because I think people have gotten ass about that. I think it's that you're so close to Heavenly that you could have done something about it. You could have told Heavenly, this is completely inappropriate and out of line. Because the same way that you make sure to tell everyone at every turn, you don't want no ex in your face and you don't want no new wife in your face. So the same way that you know enough to tell the group that now, in case that should hypothetically happen to you in the future, you were able to tell Heavenly when she told you that bullshit. Now you know you wrong. You know that's some bullshit, because if it were you and Damon, if you and Damon had broke up and he done been sleeping with the lady and he goes on to marry his mistress and we call ourselves going on a vacation and one of us invited him, you would be beside yourself. You know you wrong. That's all it takes. Ain't nobody around here thinking you Mary, Mother of Jesus. People just want you and your friends to be accountable. So Dr. Jackie asked Phaedra, what could I have done different? Phaedra said, well, nobody came to support me. Nobody came to my aid. Dr. Jackie said, and you're absolutely right about that. Phaedra said, these are not the kind of girls that I hang around. Meanwhile, Dr. Heavenly and Simone are over there picking Apollo's brain about what do you think Phaedra thinks about us as a group, because she's always been distant. You know, she doesn't really open up. This man said, well, you know, I've known the woman forever and, you know, y'all all have doctorate accolades and she has the same thing in the legal field. She's a lawyer. So I think it's kind of a battle of the minds. Heavenly said, yeah, we see through her bullshit. That's all that is. We see through her bullshit. Apollo said, yeah, y'all all stand on your own. Simone said, yeah, we all bosses. This is a meeting of envy. And I've said this for years because I've seen it happen in my own life. When you see your haters gather up together in a group, you are a bad mother. When they got to gather up like Power Rangers around this bitch to figure out how to take you down, or where are your flaws, or what's wrong with her. This is what it looks like when you make people feel small. This is what they do. This is the behind the scenes of how they operate when you make them feel small. You out there minding your business. Phaedra somewhere packing her bags, getting ready to go on with her life, while they are having a whole town hall meeting about what you think she think about us, because she won't tell us none of her business, and yet she only brought that man to upset you. What you think going on between them? Like, this is the behind the scenes of haters. So they adjourn this meeting and we cut back over to Phaedra's room where Jackie is asking her, so what you gonna do? She said, I'm leaving. Jackie said, well, why? Why can't you just stay and communicate to the group that you don't feel supported? Phaedra said, well, you know, some people can be played with, but I'm not one of them. I don't play with these types of mean girls, so yes, I'm leaving. I know that's right. And Phaedra said in the confessional that no one that comes into this group is able to survive this group. And that's the truth. I think this show probably has a higher turnover than any of the other ensemble cast shows. I'm not sure. I don't really keep up to that degree, but it's like their whole goal of being on this show is keeping people out of their circle. And baby, y'all circle ain't interesting enough. So Dr. Jackie asked Phaedra, are you sure you want to leave like this? Phaedra said, I do, swung her wig and walked on out the door. And Dr. Jackie said in the confessional that I didn't expect Phaedra to leave. I knew that she would be upset, but I didn't think she would leave. I thought she would, you know, come back stronger. No, everybody don't play y'all's game. Everybody is not going to be hazed to be a part of your sorority. And she goes on to say, I don't think we're a group of mean girls. I think we're a group of honest girls and great debaters. I don't think we're mean girls. I think Phaedra got that wrong. I don't think they had that question on the bar. See, the jokes write themselves. They didn't have that question on the bar. Everybody who comes around y'all says the same thing, from Mariah on down. But Phaedra just don't know what she's talking about. And that question wasn't on the bar. So they're all gathering up and heading out to go do some activity that's going to probably end in them fighting and carrying on. Well, as they're heading out, they're discussing everybody that left. Eugene is saying how he saw Phaedra and Cheick getting in a car, and so he thinks they gone. Then the ladies are discussing that Sweet Tea and Dr. G left, and they're asking Simone, did you ask them to leave? She said no. They just announced when they were getting on the boat last night that they were going home, and they went home. And Dr. Simone is going on to say that the situation that happened on the sandbar revealed to them just how contentious Greg and Quad's relationship is post-divorce. And she's saying that she thinks they underestimated how tense it would be. My thing is, y'all supposed to be doctors. Y'all are supposed to be doctors that take people's lives and health into your hands every day. You mean to tell me y'all couldn't do the basic math to figure out that it's probably gonna be a problem if you bring together people who split up on the basis that they were in the house beating each other? And then to add insult to injury, you have this great awareness of how y'all underestimated the dynamic between Quad and Dr. G, but you won't acknowledge what y'all did in terms of Phaedra and Apollo. So apparently what they're heading out to do is the ladies are going to have drinks and the guys are going to roll cigars. Well, as the guys are rolling and smoking their cigars, and they are talking about how this is unprecedented. They have never had the guys at odds like this. They have never seen it go down like it went down on that beach. They talk about how we had 3 fights at one time. Somebody had a warring spirit on them. Dr. Damon said, listen, we've never seen anything like what we saw yesterday. However, I'm going to tell y'all, if it were me and somebody said some out of the way, out of line shit to my wife and disrespected my wife, absolutely, of course, I don't care if you're the nicest person in the world, you're gonna have a reaction. So I understand, King. I'm siding with King on this one. In other words, if you jump fly talking to mine, all this soft talking is gonna end up in a soft ass. I'm gonna tear your ass up. Which is also probably why she's out here running amok. Could you please get her? Now, back at the bar, the ladies are discussing the fact that Phaedra left, and Simone is saying that Phaedra had a conversation with Dr. Jackie, and she was telling Dr. Jackie that we're a bunch of mean girls. So Dr. Jackie speaks up to say, yeah, she did say that she thinks we're mean girls and that she's not sure if she will be rejoining the group. They said, what you mean she's not sure? Heavenly said the word she used was done. She said she's done with the group. Now, Toya is just taken aback. She don't understand what's going on. She said, well, I just texted Phaedra. What y'all mean she left? They said, yeah, she got on a private plane and she left. Simone is sitting over there. I mean, blown the back. Private plane. Heavenly said, that's Phaedra Parks, bitch. And Contessa said, yeah, we don't know the etiquette for, private jet life. Y'all are a whole group of haters. Like, this is not a good look for none of y'all. And you know what it probably is? They are so used to Phaedra being dragged, especially in regard to Real Housewives of Atlanta and everything that relates to Candy, that y'all think she's just a blanket villain. Y'all think she's somebody y'all can just take from show to show, make her the problem, give you an easy season, get you some extra views, and move on with your life. And it don't work like that. So they all head back to the resort for their next itinerary item. Well, they're going to do some lemon squeeze couples therapy session. Toya said, I don't feel like that shit. She in her room laid across the bed with her drink telling Eugene, why we can't just run off somewhere and go do something on our own? Why we got to hang out with them? I'm tired of these motherfuckers. Eugene said, we ain't doing that. We are not about to just run off and leave these damn people. Toya said, I don't want to do no more couples therapy with people who don't know shit about being couples or therapy. I'm tired. I said, things bad when Toya is the damn voice of reason. So we see everybody headed to this lemon squeeze or wherever they doing. And on the way there, we see Contessa, Scott, Mimi, and Steve in one vehicle. And I don't know if Contessa had a missed call from Sweet Tea. I don't know, but she said something, but she's calling Sweet Tea back. So she FaceTimed Sweet Tea. Her and Dr. G, I don't know if they laying in the bed or what, because Contessa, are y'all doing it? Could you, ma'am? If they weren't, they ain't gonna be, because Dr. G done got upset all over damn again telling this story. He's saying how, I engaged the guy in a friendly manner and he took his shirt off and charged at me. You little fucking leprechaun. You just tell whatever story you want to be told. Just a lie, don't care who tell it. So we cut over to Dr. G and Sweet Tea's house where they're at home, and I guess they're catching up about how the whole trip went. And Sweet Tea is asking Dr. G how he feels, and he said, I'm just kind of worn out, actually. And here come Polly Pear about, me too, babe. I think I'm kind of worn out, too. I didn't know I could run so fast. So Greg says, it was just really annoying and embarrassing. And then when she started saying all that stuff about how she left me, I just wasn't ready to hear all that. And before I knew it, I had reacted. Excuse me, what? And all Sweet Tea got to say is, don't allow her to get to you. No. I'm going to get to you, because I would like to know, why are you still so triggered about your ex-wife saying she left you or she ended the marriage? If you are moved on enough from her to be married to me, why are you that triggered by anything she has to say? Gregory's in the confessional saying that he really doesn't like leaving stuff, but his emotions are very high. And when you don't know what to do, the best thing you can do is remove yourself. He felt like they couldn't get in any trouble by removing themselves, and that's what he decided to do. And he goes on to say to Sweet Tea, I just had to get up out of there. It was a toxic environment, and had it not been for Cheick, it would have been a fight to the death. Sweet Tea said, I don't think it would have been no fight to the death now. Dr. G said, well, I mean, do you know him? She said, no, I don't know him. He said, then how can you say that? She said, well, first of all, because I was there and I wasn't going to let it go down like that. He said, what was you going to do? Sweet Tea very politely explains to this man. She said, I'm combat trained. What do you mean? He said, combat my ass. You still a woman. You ain't never had your ass whooped by one, and it shows. Sweet Tea said, it doesn't matter whether I'm a woman or not, especially in the military. All right, you ain't never set foot in that bitch a day in your life, and you couldn't survive if you did. And if you were crazy enough to take your country ass around there, a G.I. Jane was gonna bust your ass. And she goes on to explain in the confessional that I am combat trained. I was in the Air Force. I was a medic, and I'm trained to fight men, women, whoever want to smoke. And she goes on to say to him that, you know, there were also other people around, so I don't think it was going to be a fight to the death. I don't think they would have let that happen. This motherfucker looked at her and said, you know, T, this is you. You can just be so naive sometimes. The exact speech, damn near verbatim, that this man is getting ready to give this woman is exactly what I said last week. This is why I said he would choose the likes of a Sweet Tea. Because this motherfucker want to tell her how she young and dumb and naive and don't know no better. And you gonna tell me about it's a whole grown man charging at me, but he ain't gonna do nothing with you around, and you gonna tell me you ain't naive. This is why you need to let him get his ass whooped. She's saying I'm not naive, and he is looking at her, I mean, with this glare. I'm telling you, I don't care what nobody says. If those cameras were not there, they might have been fighting to the death. So now he starts being condescending and say, I mean, but it's sweet. And she said, you're not getting anywhere with that, so stop that. So now he starts, what did I do? What did I do? I'm watching this man, and see, let me tell you something. I know what I know, and I know what I be looking at. This man is trying to provoke this woman to react so that he can strike. All that bunch of, what did I do? What did I do? I mean, you can see the look on his face. He's a menace and a provocateur. So as he's steady, what did I do? What did I do? She's telling him to stop, be quiet, chill out. And you can tell that more so than she's worried about her respect, she's worried about his reputation. I'm trying to tell you to shut your ass up because you're about to play yourself. He's asking her, this man is charging at me. What do you think is on his mind? She said, I don't know. I just don't think it's as deep as you're making it, but that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion. He said, no, you just can't handle the truth. No, you just can't handle the truth, which is you are a coward who likes to put your hands on women, but when a man is coming for that ass, you take off running. So he gets mad about maybe we should just end this right here. He gets up and stomps off from the table. She said it shouldn't even be all that. Like, just come back and sit down and talk. He said, no, you charging a grown-ass man and you don't want me to say you naive? You got more smoke for your wife than you got for a man who was getting ready to rearrange your whole face. And as Sweet Tea said in the confessional, who you stomping out on? Because truth be told, I'm all you have. And that's his motherfucking problem. And that's where you need to leave him. You the last thing he got, and I would take that away from him. Let him deal with himself and God. So Sweet Tea just sat there for a minute, and then she eventually goes following him up the stairs, goes into the bedroom, and closes the door. So we can't see them, but they're mic'd so we can hear them. She goes in the room. This man says, this is all your fault. She says, it's not my fault. He said, yeah, it is. Don't say stuff to upset me and you won't get this reaction. She said, it's really not my fault. He said, it really is your fault. She said, I'm entitled to my opinion, Gregory. He said, your opinion makes no sense. Didn't I just finish telling y'all last week that this man wants to undermine this? Every bit of self-esteem she got, he gonna undermine it. He gonna make her believe she can't think for herself. You don't know nothing. You're immature and naive, and you need me. You need me to think for you. You need me to guide you. Just Sweet Tea is trying to diffuse the whole situation. She said, listen, I understand that right now is a sensitive time. He said, you think you know everything, don't you? His ass is embarrassed. You done got your ass damn near whooped in front of your ex-wife, your new wife, and the entire world. Your ass is embarrassed, and you taking it out on your wife. She said, I'm just trying to look out for the team. He said, well, you should look out for the team by listening to the leader of the team. Sometimes you got to let people fall on their sword. Let him embarrass himself. Let him destroy his reputation, because this has been in the making for a decade. You can't save this man from himself. She said, I understand that you're upset. He said, you're making me hype. She said, but it doesn't have to get to a point where you're calling me naive. You don't have to do that. When she said, don't do that, this man said, I don't know who you think you're talking to. She said, be quiet. He said, I don't know who you think you're talking to. She said, be quiet. And you can tell she's trying to tell him, you dumbass. The whole world is listening to you come up out your bag. They are listening to Dr. Jekyll turn into Mr. Hyde. So she says, don't go there. He said, stop saying stupid stuff and you won't get the reaction you don't want. I know the Lord's still working on me because, hell, they got everything else him and Quad had. We'd have matching mugshots too. Talk to me like you crazy and then one more again. Now, I don't recommend that. That's to retire. Crash out. Me. My recommendation is to get your ass up and leave. That's my recommendation to Sweet Tea too. Disengage. Leave. This don't get no better. If this man will disrespect you to this degree on TV, I already know he is anime bullocking that ass around that house. These kinds of men, they don't change. They don't get better. They find new victims. And that's what Sweet Tea is. Everything that Sweet Tea is experiencing, we watched Quad experience. And he is so ignorant. He is so deep in whatever he has. And I don't know what the fuck his problem is, but he's so deep in it that he thinks he has the whole world fooled. That he would come back on TV to mistreat another woman and say it's their fault. And that scene ended with Sweet Tea whispering to him to stop, stop. And it's your fault. When I tell you I turned to Cosette Michelle around that bitch and told him, blame it on me. Say it's my fault. Say I'm a liar, a cheater. Say anything that you want as long as it's over. Get the going out my life. Thank you. So we cut back to Key West and we see the rest of the group having this lemon squeeze get together and Simone is starting it with a speech. I wish they would stop Simone with these damn speeches. She drives me up a wall. Simone starts her speech off by saying, you know, it's been said that we're mean girls and we tear down families, but we really hold each other up in a clutch. And Jackie over there like, yes, we really do. Just girl. She said, we do know how to love and support one another and we all have our flaws. Cecil said, the look of absolute disgust that Simone gave Cecil. I don't know why them people together because I really don't think she even likes the man. I don't know if he's a purse. I don't know if she like, a lady or two and she just got this man to be able to say she got her. I don't understand because it does not come off like she likes him. She don't want the man to touch her. And I mean, that's been the case since they came on this show. She never really wanted the man to touch her like that. She never really liked him like that. They couldn't manage conversation. She just learned to stop hollering all the damn time. Why are y'all together? But that ain't the point. They're in the confessional. I guess production must have asked about that moment. Cecil is cracking up and Simone is just staring at him like nothing is funny. Like she's a complete prude. Like you're not even a good time, which is why she always starts these events out with these damn speeches. And we are so much fun because you know you're not. So they start this lemon squeeze off with asking Mimi about, because you're new, we would like to know your perspective about exes in the group. Play with somebody else. This is getting Mimi to do the damn dirty work. She's the new one to the group. She has a clean slate, so she can say this without getting the backlash that any of the other ladies would get. Mimi said, if the exes are present in the group, then we have to know that the exes have done their respective work. And from what I witnessed, I don't feel like either of these exes has done their work. She said, I mean, you have to ask yourself, have you been forgiving yourself for being a part of that? Have you done the work? And if we as a group feel like you haven't done the work, then yes, we can ask you to leave. Now, as she's saying all this, Quad is sitting over there giving her a super side eye with her mouth balled up. And honestly, I think it's because Dr. Mimi is throwing a little bit of shade because she did seem to side with Sweet Tea. So now Toya said, you know what? I got something to say. So she decides she want to speak up. And in order to speak, you have to have their bowl of lemons in this damn lemon squeeze. So she asked them to pass her the bowl. And as soon as she said that, here goes Simone. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Here we go. Toya looked at her like, don't start with me. And even Eugene looked at her like, well, what is you doing all that for? She, oh, no, my drink is hot. I'm just saying my drink is hot. No. Anytime it's somebody that is not an MD, y'all don't have no respect for anything that they have to say. Toya said, Dr. G did wrong yesterday, Sweet Tea did wrong yesterday, but we wrong. She said, we can sit up here and conveniently say, oh, we're not mean girls. She said, but we need to look in the mirror and collectively say, we do some fucked up shit. I said, now, you know, Toya got to have a job next season because for Toya to become the motherfucking voice of reason in this group of highly educated professionals is some wild shit. And of course, they showed the flashbacks to prove it. They showed back in 2013, 12 years ago, 12 years of bullshit, We see Dr. Jackie telling Dr. Heavenly how she's not as high and mighty as them because she's only a dentist. She's not a medical doctor. And child, if you ain't got no respect for a damn dentist, for another medical professional, I know you ain't got no respect for nobody else with your elitist. We see Quad talking about somebody done begged, borrowed, steal, and sold their ass to buy a house. And then they said the same damn thing about her. Said she was sleeping with her contractors and all. I mean, they drag each other through the mud around this bitch. Toya said in the confessional, we can't keep making the same mistake and then expect people to just sit back and take it like a champ. Now, Dr. Heavenly speaks up and thanks Toya for saying the hard thing, as she always does, and said that she feels like she was wrong for bringing the ex around and not considering Quad's feelings, because truth be told, if it were her in that situation, she feels like Jackie feels. Don't bring no damn body around her. Well, now Quad's man King speaks up, and I just have to say, he comes across as so emotionally intelligent. He speaks up to say that he doesn't have an ex here, but he does understand that this is a complicated situation because it's not a normal or a natural environment. And you have people whose feelings are involved who have not done the work. So it's very volatile and it can go left very easily. He said, but we do understand that we are dealing with humans with real emotions and they're really trying to work through those real emotions. So we have to kind of support them in that. So Eugene speaks up on behalf of Dr. G. He said he doesn't think that he and Dr. G are the closest of the guys in the group, but he does want Dr. G's position and feelings to be considered because he is a part of this friend group. And he started kind of stuttering, saying, I mean, just because y'all aren't together, Quad said, I'm not asking y'all to throw him away. All I'm asking is that y'all put yourselves in my shoes. And I think that's all it'll take, and that will give you clarity. And Eugene says in the confessional that the only clarity that I have is that Quad and Dr. G are not ready to be in the same space. Well, I would love to know, after watching this episode and seeing Dr. G be the same Dr. G with Sweet Tea that he was with Quad, does he have any other clarity? So Curtis spoke up and asked, how do we correct this going forward? How do we reach out to the likes of Greg and Sweet Tea and Phaedra and correct this? Contessa spoke up to say, I spoke to Dr. G on the way here, and while y'all are very calm, he is on fire. She said, and that's why sometimes people do have to leave the group, remove themselves from the group in order to remove themselves from the negative noise. My thing is, yes, that's very true, but I find it very interesting that Dr. G had a whole period of time that he was not on this show. And when he came back to this show, he came back with a new wife as the exact same person. So he can remove himself from this group all day long. Y'all can get what y'all want and get Quad removed from this group all day long. And it's not going to change a damn thing. What's going to happen is Sweet Tea is going to become the Quad. And then what's going to happen is it's going to expose all of y'all for being enablers of an abusive man. This episode and their trip came to an end with Dr. Damon speaking up to say, I'm accepting everyone here the way that they are. Nobody has to be perfect to be around me, because I know that there are no perfect people, but y'all are amazing people. And not because of your titles, but just because y'all are good people. And child, it looks like next week they're going to figure out all these domestic disputes. They're going to be going to Phaedra, and Phaedra going to tell them, I don't even like y'all. I ain't kicking it with y'all like that no more. The guys are going to be going to Dr. G, but we heard you filed a police report. This nigga said, why wouldn't I? You're right, because you's a whole. And then it looks like the ladies are going to take Sweet Tea to lunch, and they're going to try to talk some sense into her to see if she can talk some sense into Greg. And they're asking her, well, do you want to separate from the group? Are you willing to not be friends with us? And she's saying something along the lines of, well, if you want to choose sides, that's up to you. Toya gonna be taking it back to the group, telling the group, if the bitch thinks she gonna make me pick sides, it ain't gonna be her side I'm gonna be on. But that's it, that's all, and I ain't got no more. We'll see what they talking about next week. Thank y'all so much for coming down here listening to me and let me get this off my chest. Y'all, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you've not already. And in the meantime, until next time, just like every time, you know I love you and I mean it. Bye.